The Pittsburgh Steelers pulled off a major upset, 29-24 over the Lions. We break it all down here on a Victory Monday podcast here on the Locked On Steelers podcast. I'm your host, Chris Carter, joined today by Jim Wexell. Let's get into it.
You are Locked On Steelers, your daily Pittsburgh Steelers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to the Locked On Steelers podcast. I'm your host, Chris Carter, bringing you your daily dose of all things in the Pittsburgh Steelers. As always, you can find the show on your favorite podcasting apps and on YouTube. Like this video if you enjoy it. Subscribe to this YouTube channel to get all of your daily Monday through Friday episodes, as well as our bonus content. We thank you for making us your first listen every day because we're your team every day. Reminder, the Locked On Steelers podcast is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, the #1 sports podcasting network in the world. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Be right in the middle of the action all season long by signing up at FanDuel.com to place your bets. Will help have more lines on the Steelers coming up on FanDuel, coming up very soon. As always, I, Chris Carter, the host of the Locked On Steelers podcast. If I pick the Steelers to lose and they win, I must wear the bag of shame as I read my intros. But I take it off, Jim Wexell, because I got to say, Steelers fans, it's a victory Monday. The Pittsburgh Steelers come out and upset the Lions 29-24 in Detroit. Jim Wexell, longtime Steelers writer and author of Pittsburgh Steelers and Illustrated Times. Go to jimwexell.com, by the way, to get your great Steelers gifts. We'll have one of his later works coming up later in the show in this game. Jim, I want to give you the floor here to talk about what you were most impressed by of this win, because this Steelers team is now rolling. And even a person that thought this team could win 11 games at the start of the season, I didn't think they'd win this game.
Well, I thought the most impressive thing was me changing the lead 4 times in the last quarter because I have to send it with 5 minutes after the game to Steelers.com.
Journalist struggle.
So, I went from looking up all the defensive stats at 15-10. The Steelers had that, 9-minute and 44-second field goal drive. Mm-hmm. And it led into the fourth quarter. So it was all defense at that point, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then all hell broke loose. Jaylen Warren broke loose, right?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna hold the Steelers defense with demerits for that last quarter.
Mm-hmm.
That Detroit offense is explosive, and they finally got it going.
You're the #1 offense.
Yeah, and so hanging on was huge. I think it was a statement win. I think it was a statement win.
I agree.
I win 3 in a row, but this one was the one that you could say, yeah, rest TJ Watt another week. Yeah, yeah, sit Herbig out. Yeah, give Jack Sawyer some time. Yeah, sit this guy out. Take Eccles out. You need him for the last 2 games, the Browns and the Ravens, right?
Yep.
Wow.
I agree with you.
This makes it a statement. I know Detroit's not having what they expected kind of year, but there's still a lot of talent, well-coached team at Detroit, and they needed it. They were desperate.
This is a desperate Detroit team. It's Jenna Hunter and I both picked the Lions because of that desperation. We thought, hey, this Lions team, if they lose, they're practically out of the playoffs. A single Packers win would eliminate them entirely. I think they pretty much are out of the playoffs at this point. The Steelers banged up. And yes, the Lions are banged up too. But like you said, no TJ Watt, no Nick Herbig. Jack Sawyer is going to make his first NFL start in this game. And I thought he also played well. We'll get to the defense in a bit. But on top of that, Dylan Cook having to go up against Aiden Hutchinson all game long, him getting the start at left tackle, his second start in the NFL. Then you have a backup at left guard with Isaac Seumalo out. You're dealing with other guys getting hurt in this game. Brandon Eccles at one point went down. This was a statement win for the Steelers to win the way that they did by coming out. The defense, I mean, listen, yes, like you said, Jared Goff lit it up. 34-54, 364, 364 passing yards, no interceptions, 3 touchdowns. Great job. But the thing that the Steelers needed to do was make it that it was only one thing that was going to be able to hurt them today, and they did that. Jahmyr Gibbs, 7 carries, 2 yards, shut down. A guy that many were saying was the best running back in football this year. Similarly, even more dominantly so than they did the other guy who they said was the best running back in football this year, Jonathan Taylor, when they shut him down in the Colts back earlier in the season. David Montgomery, the number 2 running back that everyone said to worry about, 4 carries, 14 yards. They took away the Lions' run, forced them to be one-dimensional, and sure, they got those touchdowns late in the game, but that set the tone for everything else to win. Jaylen Warren pops off for 14 carries, 143 yards, 2 touchdowns. That offensive line opening holes everywhere for him. Kenneth Gainwell, 9 carries, 50 yards. But, Jim, you've seen many a Steelers touchdown over the years. What was going through your mind when you saw Kenneth Gainwell catch that ball, get up and score the way he did on that insane 45-yard touchdown catch?
Yeah, not much going through my mind except, that was an incredible finish to the half. Yeah. I mean, it's one of those fluke plays, very aware. Sure. Well called, as Tomlin explained after the game. They keep their inside linebackers, both of them in dime, and they were looking for that matchup. Gainwell was very aware. I mean, I don't know what else to say about it. It was eye-popping. As I wrote, it'll be on Steelers highlight reels for years. That was a 45-yard touchdown, wasn't it?
Yeah, so 45-yard touchdown.
45 seemed to be the magic number in that game.
It seemed like it was. Kenneth Gainwell, a 45-yard touchdown reception. Jaylen Warren, 2 45-yard touchdown runs. Jim, we've talked about many running back duos in the history of the Steelers, and I'm not saying that this should be put up with Harrison Bly or anything like that, but there's something to these guys, right? Warren and Gainwell hurting you in different ways. Gainwell, I've said all season, he reminds me of Moeldy more because I love his tenacity and how he fills in, he catches, he blocks, he does everything you ask him to. But now, it's like him and Warren, it's like you have to respect both when they're in the game.
Yeah. I'm not going to go too far out on a limb with those two. They're having great games. I'm not going to put them down. I'm not going to get too excited. I'm still unsure whether they have the bell cow. They don't have James Cook.
I agree.
You mentioned a series of great running backs that they've stopped. They did not stop James Cook. He looks like the best in the league right now. He ran through the Browns, and the other guy that looked really good was the Browns running back who is now out.
Mm-hmm.
Has to be out. They wouldn't even show the replay. It was so gruesome. He broke his fibula. But
that was nasty.
Yeah, so he's out. Now, I don't know if Metcalf's going to be out. And
that's a story. We'll get to that in a second. But continue.
Well, I mean, the Steelers, they seem to be pulling teeth and getting that number 2 receiver going a bit. Thielen caught some key passes. MVS just missed a deep touchdown catch. They're close. They're close.
It feels like it, right, Jim? Like, this is a team. We'll get to DK Metcalf's incident with the fan and what the impact might be of that. But you're talking about this team, this offense, all of a sudden looks dangerous, Jim. And this defense, sure, they're not elite. This isn't but you're seeing them step up. In my opinion, this is the 3rd straight good showing that this defense has put together. I thought they were good against the Ravens. I thought they were really good against the Dolphins. And I thought this, despite, 24 points, not ideal, but against the number 1 offense in the NFL in their house, that you did your job. And hey, at the end of the game, the defense was on the field and they got the stop that won the game. And that's what you want. That's what you wanted out of this defense. This is looking like a more complete Steelers team than I think we have seen from this team in some time. And it's weird because we've always, I think, in my vision has been like, the Steelers defense is just going to stay top tier and the offense is eventually going to be back to being middle tier the way it was like in the mid to late 2000s when they went on that run of several great years there. The defense will be elite, the offense will be solid, and that'll be the combination that you want. Now it's like the defense is solid and the offense is starting to push way past solid to being very good. And when you have a run game that can take off the way this week, the way it has the last 2 weeks, and you have a pass game that can hurt you, and there's no one clear way to stop it. You can't just take away DK Metcalf because Washington will hurt you. Now Adam Thielen's hurting you. Kenneth Gainwell can hurt you. Pat Freiermuth can hurt you. Aaron Rodgers picking teams apart in different ways. That's what I think could make this Steelers team really scary. And this win, I think, sends shockwaves around the NFL to teams that, or to people that might have been taking the Steelers team lightly.
At least shockwaves around Pittsburgh.
At least around Pittsburgh.
I mean, the rest of the nation seems to respect the Steelers more than their own fans do. But I'm not going to rule out this defense from becoming excellent. I mean, Harmon was back today, and look at the run defense, 15 yards. What's that do to his average? I mean, you remember those averages we were all doing when Harmon was out against the run? He comes back against Detroit, the number 1 offense in the NFL, and 15 yards rushing. Queen's playing better. You know, if TJ comes back and Herbert comes back, Highsmith looks so good today.
He looks so good, man.
And, you know, he wasn't supposed to.
Nope.
That's always been the excuse, that he's got a guy on the other side that frees him up. He didn't have that guy. I mean, Sawyer played solid for a rookie, and he impressed me in pass coverage a lot.
He had some really good coverage as well. Yeah.
Yeah. But, you know, Heyward's playing well. When Eccles is in and Samuel and Porter, they have 3 CBs, then Ramsey can play safety, and I don't think he drops the 3 picks that Chuck Clark dropped today.
Agreed.
And you could do some stuff and Duggar had the safety blitz for the safety. I like the defense. I'm still wary of the offense and this number 2 receiver. It's getting better, and you know, if they lose Metcalf for a game, hey, maybe that's the move that really forces these Thielen and MVS to really play a strong game, really learn Rodgers a lot, week of practice and a full game on each side.
We'll talk about the DK Metcalf situation, and I want to focus more on the defense after this upcoming break here. It's the Locked On Steelers podcast. I'm your host, Chris Carter, here with Jim Wexell. Stick with us. Be right back. But first, I want to remind you that this show is also brought to you by Car Gurus. Car shopping should feel exciting, not confusing. And with Car Gurus, you can get the confidence that you deserve. They cut through all the noise so you can actually see the best deals on the cars that you want, because when it comes to a big purchase, you deserve the best deal. And Car Gurus makes the whole process simple by giving you real information, real deal ratings, and more listings than anyone else. Car Gurus deal ratings to compare cars quickly without having to guess whether the price is fair. You'll love being able to filter by everything, mileage, trim, features, so you're always seeing cars that exactly to fit what you need. Car Gurus connects with the trusted dealerships for a transparent and hassle-free buying process. With over 4 million listings, the most of the major online automotive marketplace, you'll always find the best deal. Buy or sell your next car today at cargurus.com. That's CARGURUS.com, cargurus.com. We're back here on the Locked On Steelers podcast. Chris Carter here with Jim Wexell. Jim, let's talk about the DK Metcalf penalty real quick. You, like I were, we were not in Detroit, so we got to see the benefit of all the TV cameras that caught it. Now, Jim, this is always a weird thing. Me personally, I've always been on the side of, if you're a fan, shut the heck up. Don't talk to the player. But as a player, you are coached not to interact with fans. You know, yes, interact with your fans. I think that was the tricky part. It looked like the guy was wearing a DK sort of shirt, which was weird because he had the blue Lions hair. But for whatever reason, DK Metcalf went to interact with the guy, and then you could see him like kind of holding his like fake blue hair or whatever, and then like he like threw it back at him, and it looked like he jabbed at him. And so in doing that, that caught the eyes of the cameras. Everyone was talking about it. There's been a lot of post-game talk about it. He dropped a pass after that, and they got called for an offensive pass interference that I thought was a little ticky-tack. But he did catch a few big passes later in the game for the Steelers that really helped. But now there's questions about what will be the ramifications. I did see there was I think an NBC. I was watching the NBC post game because I was keeping an eye on us on Ravens Patriots, and that start. We'll talk about the impact of that game in a bit. We're recording during that game, so we won't have the full finish, but you'll hear that. The initial response I've seen from people who examine the rules says the precedent for this penalty for something like that DK Metcalf did is an expensive fine, but not a suspension. But the league can review and determine what they want here. Jim, what's your opinion on what's going to come of the DK Metcalf situation.
Did he actually strike the fan?
I don't think he did. That's the thing. I think that it looked like he was holding on to his, like onto the fake blue wig hair, and then like he threw it at him, but like in throwing it at him, the hand came up here. I don't think it struck him, but it certainly goes as like you put your hand in the direction of the fan there. And again, my opinion, we don't know what that fan said about him. And listen,
doesn't matter.
Like, it doesn't matter. And as a player, you need to not put yourself in the situation so that you can be judged by what this is going on down as. And now the question is, Jim, as you kind of alluded to in the previous segment, does the NFL take this out on DK Metcalf by suspending him for a game? And it could be an important game, because if the Ravens lose any of their next two games before the Steelers play the Browns, that Steelers-Browns game could mean the Steelers could clinch the division before they even have to play the Ravens in Week 18.
Yeah, and boy, the Browns sure are ripe for the plucking. And if you said a big fine and no precedent for a suspension, I think the NFL would suspend him if you saw the fan's head jolt back like he had been struck.
Right.
But I didn't see any movement. I'm not trying to justify DK. I'm trying to determine. I'm trying to predict. And, it wouldn't be a surprise if he's suspended, really. And they would have to prepare in that way. And they could still beat the Browns, without that running back.
Mm-hmm.
I really think he's good, and he was a threat.
Quinshon Judkins is the bad man. It was a very unfortunate injury.
Yeah, but I don't know what else to say about DK. I think it's pretty obvious. We all agree it was not wise. It was stupid.
It was stupid.
His temper, we have seen this before. It's usually for the good. It's not usually something that's stupid. So, but I liked how Rodgers was determined to get him back involved, get his head.
What?
I mean, Rodgers is so good. He's so good. There's still some things that he sometimes gets rid of the ball. I think he still knows that he's 42, so he gets rid of the ball too early. Not taking that sack at the end and throwing it away when he could have ran some seconds off the clock. He probably would have liked to have that back. So there are some moments where he does seem to panic because he worries that he's not young anymore. But man, so many things he does so well. He reads things. And again, with the incompletion on third down that was ruled a completion, and he tried to get the team up to the line. And again, Arthur Smith sent somebody else in, and the ref had to just halt play until the other team could substitute, and then they threw the flag. But he does so many good things. I don't know. What else is there to say about DK? Stupid move. If he does get suspended, he deserves it. If he gets off, he's lucky. But I didn't see anything really suspendable. I mean, he didn't really. I don't think he made contact. He didn't. He took a swing.
I didn't think he made contact. We don't have to keep going over this, like you said. It's pretty simple. But to your point, I don't think this is. If the NFL chooses to suspend him, that'll be that. But again, shouldn't have been there. But let's switch to the defense, because I think that's something that we have to address in this game. And yes, they gave up 2 fourth quarter touchdowns. You don't like that, but they took away this run game, and they did it without TJ Watt and Nick Herbig, Jack Sawyer being out there. This is the second time I've seen Jack Sawyer stepping up and making plays, and maybe more than second, but at least in this game, he was stepping up at the goal line. He was stepping up in key moments. 5 tackles in total on the game. This defense brought heat on Jared Goff. They got 3 sacks in a week, again, without 2 of their top edge rushers. Keeanu Benton gets a sack in this game. Cam Heyward gets a sack that Alex Highsmith chased him into. Kyle Duggar gets the sack and safety on a blitz there. They also, I'm curious to see the pressure numbers in this game, but on the official stat register, you got quarterback hits. You got 2 from Keeanu Benton, 2 from Cam Heyward, 2 from Jack Sawyer, 2 from Alex Highsmith, and another from Duggar. That's, by my count, 9 times they hit Jared Goff. That's the kind of stuff that impacts and speeds up a quarterback and led to some of the mistakes that he made in this game. What can you say? We'll focus on the secondary a bit, but focusing on this front, Derrick Harmon being back in this week, like you said, his numbers are gonna shoot up because of this. But what can you say about this defensive front finding ways to win in such an important game?
I think you said it all. I mean, Derrick Harmon's back, and he is their top rookie. He's 21 years old. You could that really in the way the Steelers put their team together this year. I mean, we could complain about not finding a number 2 wide receiver, but I don't remember one instance where I thought they have to get this guy. But at the quarterback position, you could make a good argument that they should have drafted Jackson Dart and signed Rodgers. That's fine. But instead they drafted a 21-year-old defensive tackle.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not seeing fault with that. Even if it takes them a couple more years to find their quarterback, Harmon looks like the real deal. He's 22 years old now. And, Cam will play another year, I assume. And Y.A. Black, there's not much to say about this defensive front other than Derrick Harmon adds to it.
He certainly does. They're finding answers. Also, I just saw a new angle of I guess from a fan who got this of the DK Metcalf play. So DK Metcalf walked up to the guy, grabbed him by the shirt, pulled him down, said something, and then threw him back. He did not strike him. So he did grab him by his shirt, but he did not hit him in the head.
Wow,
so
I didn't see that.
I just saw it pop up on my Twitter as we're recording this. So it's a fan one. I'm gonna retweet it now. So if you're following this show, you want to see a better angle of DK Metcalf's situation. It's from someone else who was, I guess, holding their phone right over the edge, and they got it from the side. So it looked, that guy said something to draw DK over because he just walks clean. It catches him kind of walking up to the guy, and he just grabs him with his hand, pulls him down, says something, and then throws him away. So there's an update to that view there. But back to the defense.
Chris, you hear all the things we say in the media room to each other. How bad could it have been?
You never know, man. I've heard some fans say some disgusting stuff in the stadium. But talking about this defense again, it wasn't just the front. I thought the linebackers played well. You mentioned Patrick Queen earlier. I'm going to look at the specific tape to see it, but man, I think Patrick Queen does so many good things for this defense that are glue plays where he'll go here, he'll go there, he'll take this away, he'll take that away, he'll provide the coverage over the middle that forces a quarterback to hold on to the ball just for the extra second, and he keeps everyone aligned. And I wrote a story, Jim, in the Post-Gazette this past weekend where Patrick Queen revealed to me in a conversation last week where he said, hey, I had to admit that I wasn't communicating to Tara Lawson during the week my complaints, my point of view, and Mike Tomlin was the one who noticed that and made me come out and say, hey, we have to communicate better between me and Tara Lawson about what the plays are and what we're seeing. And so far, I think this happened. He said that happened after the Packers loss, and he said that the team kind of had like a big meeting after the Bills loss, where the defense, said that, hey, we have to start stepping up in certain ways. And this is 3 straight games where I think you've seen us different Steelers defense take the field and come up in big ways to help them get what's now their 3rd straight win.
Nothing I can add. I mean, it's. Inside linebacker has been the bugaboo.
Yes.
I think the secondary has been settled since they moved Ramsey back, and they added Samuel and Pierre's still hanging around out there, and Eccles. They got some good corners, man. So
they do,
and they've got the rush and they've got the coverage now. They're just going to keep getting better.
I agree with you, Jim. And that's the thing is that like they won't have the pretty stats. They won't have the stats where like, you covered this team when they were getting like number 1 defense and points and yards, like, 4 out of 5 years back in the late 2000s. But they are going to get, I think, the chance. Like I said this on the Post-Gazette podcast, the North Shore Drive podcast, there's a chance for this defense to be historic in a different way. In a way where they tune it up and they become a great late season defense that helps them win important games down the stretch. They have for 3 straight weeks, and it's set the Steelers up again at 9-6, in control of their own destiny and positioning themselves for an interesting spot in the playoffs. I want to talk about where they are, how it relates to the AFC North, and where things stand with the AFC North race. Here on the Locked On Steelers podcast, Chris Carter, Jim Wexell, stick with us. We'll be right back. But first, remind you, this show is brought to you by FanDuel. NFL Sundays move fast. One big play, and suddenly everything feels different. That makes my live betting from FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. With FanDuel, you can place bets as the action unfolds. Every drive, every momentum swing, every highlight moment. Live betting is best when the game starts to shift, a receiver gets hot, a defense tightens up, or a momentum flips after a turnover. Live spreads and money lines adjust instantly. The Steelers open as 5.5-point favorites to over the Browns this upcoming weekend in Cleveland. With a money line of -250, the Steelers are favored, and they have an over-under for the game at 35.5 points, expecting a defensive showdown. Player props update as guys heat up. You can get your next touchdown scores, drive results, totals, and more. It keeps you locked into every snap, every drive, every possibility. So if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com. Place your NFL live bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast, and so can you. Back here on the Locked On Steelers podcast, Chris Carter here with Jim Wexell. Jim, let's talk about where the Steelers are at right now at 9-6. Now, again, full disclosure, I wanted to record this early enough in the evening so that we could both get this done and get some other things done that we needed to do for set up the rest of the week. So as we're recording this right now, the Ravens are playing the Patriots. The Patriots just took a 10-7 second quarter lead over the Ravens. The Steelers at 9-6, Jim, and I said this going into this game, that the statement of this win, even bigger than what I think a statement win, just what it means to beat a Lions team with the number one offense in their house that a lot of people thought were going to go to the Super Bowl this year. What they do is now the Ravens see that win. The Ravens have to win this game against the Patriots that we're recording on. I'll do a short on what will happen to this game afterwards. So follow me at Carter Critiques to get that, or follow this YouTube page to get my reaction to whatever happens in this game. But the Ravens have to win both this game against the Patriots and the game against the Packers. If they lose either of those games, and both of them happen before the Steelers play the Browns 1 p.m. next Sunday in Cleveland, the Steelers won't have to. If the Ravens lose one of those games, the Steelers just have to beat the Browns, and they will clinch the AFC North. Week 18 doesn't matter. The Steelers are AFC North champions. They will host a playoff game for the first time since the 2020 season. However, if the Ravens lose both of those games, the Steelers don't even have to start guys against the Browns. They will clinch the AFC North before they even take the field in Cleveland. Jim, it's tough to predict what's going to happen here, but I feel like the Steelers, they're taking advantage of a year where so many things have not gone right in the AFC for so many of the teams that were supposed to be the top dogs.
It's wide open. It really is. And with a wily quarterback and a team that was at such a low point.
Yeah.
Those real low points when they're booing you and you love your coach and they're booing your coach and they're chanting for him to be fired and you're getting blown out.
Yeah.
It's like you have extended life where you were dead. And, when you have that extended life, you live free. And then you win on the road in Baltimore and Detroit, finish it off with winning at Cleveland. I don't think there's going to be a road game that scares them.
Yeah.
Buffalo might be the best team, scariest team, but I mean, did they scare you that much? Really? I mean, Josh Allen's great, no doubt. And the running back is fantastic. I mean, injuries happen too. Denver doesn't scare me. New England doesn't scare me. So the Steelers can win a home playoff game and win a road game. Could be really fun. Could be a really fun playoffs, especially the way everybody's been counting them out. And everybody keeps talking about losing 8 straight playoff years. That's in everybody's craw, every player's craw. So anything can happen this year. And they look like they They wouldn't surprise me if they did, make it to the AFC Championship game. I would say I would be surprised if they made it to the Super Bowl, but.
Jim, I said at the start of the season, and y'all can go back and quote me when I started when we did our preseason shows, and I gave my Steelers prediction for where this team could go. I said this team can win 11 games, and I thought the ceiling that they could reach is the AFC Championship game. I thought that they could win a home playoff game, stun somebody on the road, and then they'd probably fall victim to. At the time, I thought it would be the Chiefs or the Bills, or the Ravens or one of those teams. But Ravens look like, if the Steelers win the division, Ravens are out of it. The Chiefs are not in the playoff picture, so maybe it's the Bills. Looking around the AFC, the Jaguars might be some top dogs to look out for with the way that they knocked off the Broncos in this last game. They're 11-4. They beat the Broncos 34-20 in Denver, mind you. And now all of a sudden, the conference, Denver still has the top seed again before finishing, Patriots, Ravens, and how that'll play out. But looking at how this is shaping up, the Steelers, they look like they're pretty much locked into being the 4 seed at 9-6. Even if they win out, the Jaguars would just have to win. The Jaguars or the Patriots each would just have to win one game and the rest of the way, and the Steelers would be out of it. But that would lock them into being the 4 seed, which means they get a mix of either the team that doesn't win the AFC East, the Patriots or the Bills, or the Chargers. Both of those all those teams have 11 wins at this point. The Patriots might have 12 if they won last night, or win the game that we're talking during. And the Texans are at 10-5. I don't know if they'll get enough to be the 5 seed, but to me, I think it could be ideal for the Steelers if they have to go up against the Chargers again, because I thought that they were going back and forth with the Chargers until they kind of let things slip out in the West Coast. But if the Chargers have to make the trip from the West Coast to the East Coast, playing some cold weather in Pittsburgh with the Steelers playing much better football than they were when they met, a month and a half, 2 months ago, I think that that's a matchup that could favor the Steelers. And Jim, a few weeks ago, Kim Heyward brought up the 2005 team and their chance to make and how they made a run. And it was when the Steelers were 7-6 after that Bills loss. And everyone's like, so what you doing there, Ken? That's ridiculous. But here they are on a 3-game win streak. Potentially, if they win out, they'll have 11 wins, just like that 2005, 2006 team that won Super Bowl 40. And they could go up against 2 teams in these early parts of the playoffs that have beaten them before. One could be the Chargers, and another could be the Bills. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I am saying that I think this team is more dangerous of a playoff threat the way they're playing right now than we've seen since maybe the 2017 Steelers when they lost to the Jaguars in the divisional round.
Yeah, that team had a paralyzed captain too for the last month that was playing awful defense. So people forget about that. And Fournette was pounding them up the middle, and it opened up Bortles. Anyway, this team reminds me more, not the 2005 team. The 2005 team was getting guys back, some serious dudes back, like Marvell Smith. They had a record without Marvell Smith that rivals the TJ Watt record. And, now you see with the depth they have at outside linebacker, TJ isn't such a great casualty. But at the time, Marvell Smith was a real big loss, and he was coming back. And there were some other guys coming back for that 2005 Steelers team that had also gone 15-1 the year before. So there was some legit talent there. This reminds me more of 1989, where they won their first playoff game against Houston and then went to Denver and really scared the crap out of the Broncos. This is what this Steeler team reminds me of, that kind of underdog with a nothing to lose mentality. They've already been killed.
Right.
The fans were chanting and booing their song, and I don't know how much lower you can get. They were dead, and so now they're free. They're what's the old saying about to live you have to die?
I don't know that one, Jim. You're older than me.
Something. Oh man,
it's all right. It's all right.
All my brain cells out of me.
Hey, listen, I took a lot of brain. I think it took a lot more out of the Steelers fans. Back in that 2005 game after the Jerome Bettis fumble, there was a guy that had a heart attack. So, there's been a lot crazier things that have happened because of Steelers games. But hey, listen, Jim, to your point, this team is gritty. This team is finding ways to win and different ways to win. They're running the ball here. They're throwing the ball here. The defense is stepping up. The secondary is playing well. And now the run defense comes up in such a big way. And to your point about the secondary, in a week where they're missing James Pierre and then eventually Brandon Echols went down, they still had guys stepping up. I think Joey Porter Jr. is playing very good football right now. And again, this is not to mention Deshaun Elliott's been out most of the season. Yeah. This team, for all the things like, oh, this team's hurt, the Steelers are battling through injuries and still finding their stride. That's what should scare you if you are an opponent that has to face this team, whether it's the Browns next week, the Ravens the week after, or a playoff team that has to come to Pittsburgh should the Steelers win the division.
Yeah. I mean, with so much hatred out there for Tomlin, it's just fun for me.
19 straight non-losing seasons. I know some people get really mad when you bring it up.
Well, they act like Tomlin's the one that is saying after the game, okay, we got a winning record. We've accomplished our goals.
Pack it up.
People like put this stuff in quote marks, like he actually, that's his goal, or that's what he says. And I know some people are furious at these wins because they saw that he was down and could get fired. I guess not this year.
Not happening this year. But Jim, thanks so much for joining us here on the Locked On Steelers podcast and our Victory Monday episode here after the Steelers upset win over the Lions. Jim, I wanted to give you a chance to talk about something that you recently worked on, something that could be a great gift for Steelers fans. It's the new book, If These Walls Could Talk: Stories from the Pittsburgh Steelers Sideline, Locker Room, and Press Box, with Craig Wolfley with Jim Wexell here. Jim, can you talk about this book and why Steelers fans should be looking to buy it?
Well, Craig, those are Craig's memoirs, and he wrote short stories. It's not a biography about Craig. I did not write it. I was the editor.
Right.
And I'm here talking about it because Craig passed away.
Unfortunately.
And I want to do this book justice. I'm not making money on sales. I've already been paid my editor's fee. It's a flat fee, and I've been paid. The family of Craig, I'm getting closer to them every day. Every time we have an event, I meet more members of the Wolfley family, and they're so impressive, just like Craig was. So I want to do this book justice, and that's why I'm promoting it. And thank you for having me on. People have asked, why is your name on it? Why are you talking about it? Well, both Craig and I were going through cancer treatment at the time that the book was due. Thankfully, Craig did a lot of work during the season and got them to me. So I was able to sit at my desk. I was undergoing some brutal radiation and chemo and all that. Craig, it just came on him. It hit his liver, and he went in 20 days. He died the day the manuscript was due. So I believe there's a hand of God involved, that the universe wanted this book out. So I'm doing my due diligence to promote it. I love it. We all love Craig, and these stories that he used to tell all the time that we took for granted because Craig was in the media and always around us and always good natured and always willing to help. We may have took him for granted, and now he's gone. And these stories are very valuable and precious to me. So I hope they are to Steeler Nation as well.
I think it'll be special. Listen, as a person who got to see Craig Wolfley as a reporter, as a young reporter coming up in the Steelers beat, he was always a really special man. Him and Tunch, I think the world is a sadder place without both of those guys. But it's blessed to have known both of them, and I'm blessed to have known both of them, to have them in my life at some point. And Jim, I'm blessed to have you in my life. You've been a good person who's given me pointers all throughout my process. You've always been very supportive. That's why I love to have you on this show, Jim. You do great things, and I'm glad I'm sad we lost Craig. I'm so glad that you're still with us, chugging along, giving you great insights, working with Steelers.com, working on great projects like this. So if you're missing it out, check out If These Walls Could Talk: Stories from the Pittsburgh Steelers Sideline, Locker Room, and Press Box from Craig Wolfley and Jim Wexell. You can buy it anywhere you buy books. Thanks again, Jim, for joining us here on the Locked On Steelers podcast. Thank you all for joining us here on the Locked On Steelers podcast. I'm your host, Chris Carter. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, wherever you get social media, at Carter Critiques. You can read my work in the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette by going to post-gazette.com. Find me here on the Locked On Steelers podcast on your favorite podcasting apps and on YouTube. Like this video if you enjoyed. Subscribe to this YouTube channel to get all those daily Monday through Friday episodes. Back here tomorrow with our Stars and Skulls grades with Alan Saunders here on the Locked On Steelers podcast.